Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name, and we are ready to blast off.
10, 9,
Here we go.
8,
Countdown with
7,
me, folks.
6, 5,
I need
4,
your help.
3,
I'm stuffed
2,
up.
1, 0.
I'm not constipated.
Ignition.
Estreñido.
Lift
False
off.
friend.
Lift off.
I've got a cold. I'm stuffed up. I don't think I've ever been constipated in my life. Oh my God. Here we go. Here we go.
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life.
Come on, folks.
Show with no
All aboard.
Show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name.
Let's go. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. It's great to be here with you, even though I'm still sniffling. Toma, todo es una lección. You hear that, what I just did? I know, it's gross, asqueroso. But I'm teaching you something here. I'm sniffling. I have the sniffles. You know, this is when you have moquetes. And then what do you tell somebody? Suénate los mocos. We don't say sound your mucus or your snot. Nope. We say blow your nose. Hey, you can learn from everything, even when you're sick. Folks, welcome to the show with no name. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Just a quick reminder, we've got a new website, a new link for you guys to find out about all the different things going on in the Vaughn world, all our new promotions, special deals, and all that jazz. In fact, I can tell you right now, we've got a special deal going on for our Masters de Inglés Profesional. It is awesome. And you can get 400 euros off, amigos. Un descuento de 400 euros. That is serious. And where can you find out more about that? Well, as I said, we've got a special link, and you can find out about the Masters deal and all the other ones. And what's the link?
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
Yep. All the information you're looking for is over there. In fact, I can tell you about some other deals we've got going on. Right now with Vaughn Jr., we've got some special deals. We've also got some deals with one-to-one classes, Vaughn Groups, which is one of our best courses, the Vaughn Groups, which you can do in person, or you can even do those from the comfort of your own home. And then we've got a special deal for the kids who are from 4 to 9 years old, and that's with the Disney English Vaughn. I just shared the link with you, so you've got all the information you need. Let me remind you of this week's question of the week.
Question of the week.
That's right, amigos. It is our question of the week. And this week's question, I think it's quite simple. Sometimes I ask you to do a little bit of soul searching. Buscar en la profundidad de tu alma. A little bit of soul searching. But today it's quite simple. Well, this week. Remember, we look at these on Friday. And a nice round of applause for Laura and Anix. Yep. They've already sent me their messages. So they are ahead of the game. Great job, ladies. If you want to participate like Anix and like Laura, all you have to do this week is tell us what your favorite subject in school was. Did you have a favorite subject? History, math. Acuérdate, los británicos dicen maths. We say math para matemática. You say mates, right? Same kind of thing. By the way, if you didn't know it, there's an FYI episode. There are actually 2 episodes that have to do with school. I've got a high school episode and a universities episode. So it's good because we go over some vocabulary that intersects between the 2 of them, but also each one has its own. Like, for example, if you're in your first year of high school or your first year of university, then you're a freshman. Doesn't matter. So you would say, I'm a freshman in high school. I'm a freshman in college. College es universidad. Primer año. Does anyone know the second year? The second year, you're a sophomore. Con PH esta palabra, eh? You're a sophomore your second year. And your third year, you're a junior. Yeah. And your last year, the year where you rule the roost. Eres la cabeza de la serpiente. You rule the roost, as we say. Well, then you're a senior. So, senior, cool. Freshman, well. But if you're smart, if you have got a little common sense, you'll know that one day you'll be a senior too. So, it's par for the course. It's par for the course. Pues es lo que tienes. Parte del proceso. So send us what your favorite subject in school was. And don't just say math. Say why. Tell us why. Also, remember to introduce yourself. And you can participate by sending a 1-minute voice message to A. Alonso at grupovon.com. Again, it's A. Alonso at grupovon.com. I urge all of you to participate. Right now, it's time for our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Welcome to our pop quiz, my amigos, our pop quiz here on the show with no name. Just a quick reminder, if you're looking for courses, I already gave you the link. It's grupovon.com, cursos destacados. But if you're looking for materials, then you can go right on over to the Von Tienda and you can shop there, vontienda.com, where you can get my books or Kyle Miller's book, Business English.
Do you mean business with your English? ¿Vas en serio? Well, if you don't have Kyle Miller's book, Business English, then you are missing out. Kyle's not only an English teacher, but he holds an MBA, and he will guide you through the ins and outs of business and the English language, all while having fun. Business English by Kyle Miller is the most complete English resource available, and it comes with audio and video. Pick up a copy of Kyle Miller's Business English. That is, if you mean business. Available at vontienda.com.
That's right, folks. So you've got tons of amazing content at your disposal, a vuestra disposición. All right, well, let's see what we've got today. Today, we're not going to look at something from Business English. We're not going to look at something from one of my books, but we're going to look at something from Speak English. And Speak English is a series of books at the Von Tienda. And we've got level A1, A2. We've got another one that's level B1. And we've got another one that's level B2. And as always, each one obviously corresponds to that level, but they all have the same thing in common. They help you with vocabulary, expressions, and even grammar that is appropriate for that level, excuse me. And as always, it comes with audio. So we're going to listen to a little audio from one of our Speak English books from the Speak English collection. And as always, I'll have a mission for you afterwards.
29 grammar. As long as and provided that.
Siempre y cuando haya comida gratis, me lo pasaré bien en la fiesta.
As long as there's free food, I'll enjoy the party.
No tendrás ningún problema siempre y cuando respetes las reglas del juego.
You won't have any problems as long as you play by the rules.
Siempre que lo hagas lo mejor que puedas, estaré contenta.
As long as you do your best, I'll be happy.
Yo iré siempre y cuando tú vayas.
I'll go as long as you go.
Siempre y cuando él no se dé cuenta del error, estaremos bien.
As long as he doesn't notice the mistake, we'll be okay.
Te ayudaré siempre y cuando no se lo digas a nadie.
I'll help you as long as you don't tell anyone.
Iré siempre y cuando no llueva.
I'll go as long as it doesn't rain.
La reacción funcionará siempre y cuando no haya contaminación.
The reaction will work as long as there's no contamination.
Siempre y cuando sigan jugando así, ganarán el partido.
As long as they keep playing like this, they'll win the match.
Conseguirás una cita siempre y cuando estés aquí antes de las 9.
You'll get an appointment as long as you're here before 9.
La empresa cubrirá los costes siempre que rellenes correctamente este formulario.
The company will cover the costs as long as you fill out this form correctly.
Puedes traer tu perro siempre y cuando lo lleves atado con una correa.
You can bring your dog provided that you keep it on a leash.
Le daremos un descuento siempre y cuando acepte nuestros términos y condiciones.
We'll give you a discount provided that you accept our terms and conditions.
Debería ser una bonita sorpresa siempre y cuando nadie se entere.
It should be a nice surprise provided that nobody finds out.
Siempre que no les importe, terminaremos temprano hoy.
Provided that they don't mind, we'll finish early today.
Nos patrocinarán siempre y cuando no hablemos de temas controvertidos.
They'll sponsor us provided that we don't talk about controversial issues.
Estaré encantado de darte la información siempre y cuando no menciones mi nombre.
I'll be happy to give you the information provided that you don't mention my name.
Te dejarán entrar siempre y cuando lleves puesto un traje.
They'll let you in provided that you wear a suit.
Probablemente ella se vaya un mes a Japón siempre y cuando apruebe sus exámenes.
She'll go to Japan for a month provided that she passes her exams.
Invertiremos siempre y cuando recibamos el 10% de los beneficios.
We'll invest provided that we receive 10% of the profits. Test yourself.
Te lo diré siempre y cuando lo mantengas en secreto.
I'll tell you as long as you keep it a secret. Or, I'll tell you provided that you keep it a secret.
Siempre que todo el mundo esté de acuerdo, pospondré la reunión.
As long as everyone agrees, I'll postpone the meeting. Or, provided that everyone agrees, I'll postpone the meeting.
Lo venderé siempre y cuando pagues en metálico.
I'll sell it as long as you pay in cash. Or, I'll sell it provided that you pay in cash.
Siempre y cuando no toquen jazz, iré.
As long as they don't play jazz, I'll go. Or, provided that they don't play jazz, I'll go.
Siempre y cuando no llueva, te esperaré fuera.
As long as it doesn't rain, I'll wait for you outside. Or, Provided that it doesn't rain, I'll wait for you outside.
Puedes irte con ellos siempre y cuando te comportas bien.
You can come with them as long as you behave well, or you can come with them provided that you behave well.
Le ayudaré siempre que él esté de acuerdo.
I'll help him as long as he agrees, or I'll help him provided that he agrees.
All right, folks, there you go. Some really good English. And you'll be surprised how many times I ask a student, ¿Cómo se dice siempre que? And you know what they say? And I get it. They say, always that. And I'm like, well, no, not really. Right? Always that. No. We don't say always that. As you heard, we have two different ways that we could say it. Now, I'll be honest with you. One of them is more natural, and one of them seems a little bit more formal. IMO, in my opinion. But what I want to see here is if you guys got these two different ways to say siempre que, con la condición de esto, ¿no? So, give me two different examples. You don't have to do what Layla did in the audio and give me the same sentence with both. In fact, I'd prefer if you use two different sentences. And as always, amigos, just think 1 second before you do it and think, well, how would I use this expression in my life? As I always tell you, personalize the language, make it your own. All right, so that's what you have to do. You have to tell us el siempre que. And let me tell you something. This siempre que, for me in Spanish, was one of these epiphany moments, you know. No, I'm serious. Because any of you who have giddy friends, or you can probably hear it from the other presenters here on Vaughn Radio, one of our Achilles heels is the subjunctive. Oh, man. That pesky molesto, that pesky subjunctive. No lo controlamos. It's, I think, the hardest thing for a non-native speaker, a non-native Spanish speaker to get. So what I started doing is taking note when people used it. And I said, well, maybe if I can just learn the pattern, el patrón, the jingle, como suena, la rafaguilla, as I call it, well, then, you know, maybe I'll know that ta-ta-ta-ta equals subjunctive, ta-ta-ta-ta equals subjunctive. And in this case, I saw that every time somebody said, siempre que vayas, siempre que vengas, siempre que tengas tiempo, siempre que, and I was like, oh, and I took note, right? Also, another one, en cuanto. When you guys say en cuanto, it's usually followed by a subjunctive. Now, do I know the theory? No, I've never really, I studied the subjunctive in Spanish, but I was in 7th grade, you know, or maybe high school. I don't remember. But my point is, I don't know the grammar. I just know that after this goes this. And that's the way it goes. And there's no, you know, there's no leeway. La palabra leeway es margen. So siempre que uses esto, uses, no usas. You know? Another one I used to always make a mistake with is the cuando puedas. Right? Because if you say cuando puedes, it's a question. ¿Cuándo puedes hacerlo? ¿No? Cuando puedes hacerlo, por favor, hazlo. But really, if you want to say cuando puedas, dame un toque, you know? And in English, that's whenever you get a chance. You can say a chance or the chance. I usually say a. Whenever you get a chance or when you get a chance. This is otra rafaguilla. And that's something I want you guys to pay attention to. These little jingles, these, have you ever been to? It's a, it's an. No, estas estructuras que a lo mejor cambian el sustantivo o el verbo, pero la estructura, the structure stays the same. You know, and then, you know, we were just talking about math, la matemática. Well, of course, math is structure. So, you know, it's amazing. That's a cool thing about language. Language is beautiful. It's poetry, but it's also There's a rhythm and rhyme to it, a reason, just like music. And as we know here, language is musical. And speaking of music, it's funny that our first person participating is Born to Iron Man. Good morning to you, buddy. You're going to love today's Name That Lyric. If I know you like the back of my hand, I think, Born to Iron Man. You are going to really enjoy today's Name That Lyric. So let's go on over to our group and see which show with no namers are joining us, and to see if you guys got this structure in English. El siempre que. And remember, it's not always that. Okay. Bueno, primer paso. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man says, morning, amigos. Morning to you, Born to Iron Man. Great to have you here on board and ready to rock. Let's see. He's participating in our pop quiz, and he says, you'll improve your English as long as you practice it, and you'll master it as long as you be either a show with no namer or an FYIer, or both of them. I love your examples. Great. So you'll improve your English as long as. Ahí está la ráfaga. As long as, siempre que. El siempre que, no lo separas, no es siempre que vayas. No, el siempre que es la parte que va junto, lo que cambia es el verbo. Entonces, que seamos conscientes de eso. ¿No? ¿Dónde está el cambio cuando usamos esta frase? ¿Y qué parte se queda? Siempre. Y aprender las partes que se quedan. Porque el have you ever been to es el ejemplo que siempre uso. Ya ahí tú solo tienes que saber el nombre de la ciudad que tienes que preguntar. Have you ever been to Rome? Have you ever been to... No, boom, fill in the blank. It's mathematical. It's formulaic. So you'll improve your English as long as you practice it, and you'll master it as long as you be either a show with no namer or a FYI. The only thing I would do there, which is a minor detail, but Born to Iron Man, since F starts with an E sound, I would say an FYI. It sounds better. Or both of them, like Born to Iron Man. And did it work? Yeah, but well, Born to Iron Man, you didn't give me the other way to say it. Although you did a great job. Congrats. There was another way Layla was saying it. Did anybody else get that way? Again, Born to Iron Man, I got to say that's the one I use the most. I would say the second one I barely use. And when hearing them both, it sounds a little bit too formal for everyday speech. But again, it's good to know that. It's good to know hay dos formas de decirlo. Y una es más formal. Does anybody have that second way? I'll give it to you, but I'll give you another second. If anybody knows the second way, the more formal way of saying as long as. Oh, and guess what? You don't have to change the tense. O sea, no hay subjuntivo. As long as you go, as long as you eat, as long as you take. ¿Ves? No hay que conjugar. Makes life easy, right? Spanish, man. Ooh. Really hard to conjugate your verbs. You just have so many different tenses. Well, you have probably around the same amount of tenses. But since you guys change it for every person, habéis comido, habían, habrían, habría. Oh my God. I want you. So I'm just telling you, I'm not complaining, but I'm telling you so that you guys can put yourselves in our shoes. Your language is a quagmire. Do you know this character? Quagmire. Quagmire is a famous character from Family Guy, Padre de Familia. And a quagmire, pifostio, would be maybe una ciénaga, un atolladero, un embrollo, barrizal, you know? It says here, quagmire. Barrial, cenagal, adurrial, atoya. Whoa, lots of different ways to say that. Quagmire. It's not an easy thing to figure out. There's Chris Valrol. What's up, Chris? Great to have you on board. And she says, morning, dear show with no namers. I'll go to Madrid as long as you throw a party. Hey, that's a good condition there. And she says, you'll improve your health provided that you practice yoga, for instance. Excellent. Awesome job, Chris. And Born to Iron Man. Wonderful. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. The first part of the show has flown by, and we've got so much to cover in the rest of today's show. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, amigos. It's a pleasure to have you with us for part 2 of today's show. We're going to kick off with today's Say What soundbite. Let me take a look. I think this one's going to be really easy. In fact, I think this one's going to be so easy that I expect each and every one of you to be able to get it today. Some days it's really tough. Yesterday it was really tough one. It was Ralph Cramden, The Honeymooners, right? Hey, it's also a chance to hear some of these classic comedians and entertainers, celebrities, to hear their real voices, if you haven't. I love learning with pop culture. That's why I love teaching with pop culture. And if you love pop culture and learning with pop culture, then you've got the show with no name. And FYI, as our buddy Born to Iron Man pointed out. And don't forget, I've got 5 books. 5 books. Yeah, it's crazy. I can't even say it myself. My latest book, is This Book is the Shit.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's part for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que ha sido a gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit.
That's right, folks. And now it's time for the Say What soundbite. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Say What soundbite. Say Huh? All right, amigos, it's your Say What soundbite here. This person was, I'll give you a clue, was. That means they no longer are. Now they just live in our memories. Our memories of the silver screen. We talked about Hollywood yesterday. The silver screen, la pantalla, no? La gran pantalla. By the way, there's an FYI episode. I actually shared it with you yesterday. One of the first episodes ever. I think it was the third episode. The first one was wine. The second one was jeans. And I think the third one was Hollywood. If you haven't listened to those earlier episodes, give them a listen. Hopefully you'll see a progression. As you know, I know how to broadcast, but in those days I was learning how to edit and do all the post-production stuff. So hopefully you'll see some improvement. All right, folks, here's your Say What soundbite. As always, what we're going to do here is we're going to hear from a famous person, extremely famous today. And I think, to be honest, this is going to be one of the easiest ones we've looked at in a long time. So don't let me down. Participate. Here we go. The Say What soundbite for the first time.
I feel great. I am happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is.
Really?
Well, I never think about growing old. I barely think about growing up.
All right. Crystal clear, right? I think there's one thing we can all agree on. This person is a natural born communicator. O sea, nata, right? Inata. I was natural born. O sea, nacido para comunicarse, right? I mean, some people, you hear them and you're like, all right, well, this person might be a good guitarist, but, you know, I wish he would open his mouth when he speaks. And again, he's like, well, mate, I'm a guitarist. I don't, you know, it's not my thing to open my mouth. I don't like doing interviews, in fact. So a lot of famous people, they're famous, but they don't like doing interviews. And some people, whether they like it or not, they just are pro communicators. And this person, I think you don't get more pro than this person. All right? Did you guys get that? I'll give it to you a second time. And then I'd like to hear what you heard in your best English. And you'll have 4 chances, obviously, to write down everything you heard. Again, today on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one a 1. So some of you might even get it after the third go, possibly, because it's not even, I'm thinking of everything here. The clarity, how well the person expresses themselves, the length, la longitud, because if it's really long sometimes, but it's clear, it's harder to get. But today, I think all around, en general, it's a pretty easy one. So here it is. Here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
I feel great. I am happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is.
Really?
Well, I never think about growing old. I barely think about growing up.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y si aprovechas, hay una oferta este sábado que viene en NH Las Tablas por solo 850 euros. Vive la experiencia. Weekend Town de Vaughan.
Oh, and I'm not sure about that special offer. I got to change that, by the way. That was the first week, so I'm not too sure, but I do know that this is one of our newest initiatives. And if you're ever thinking about doing a Vaughan Town, which is really our star program, just like Vaughan Radio, it put us on the map. It made us a household name, at least in Spain. And, well, even in, again, we have listeners. I get messages daily from people in Mexico. So a shout out to all the Show with No Namers, wherever you guys are tuning in from. FYIers too. It blows my mind that FYI is charting, o sea, está en las listas, the top charts in Argentina and in Ireland, as well as Spain. So this is just beyond my wildest dreams. As I said, FYI started as an initiative during a difficult time in everybody's life, I think. And it was a way to create in a time of destruction. Because as one of my favorite musicals says, Rent, the opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. Think about that. Destruction, creation. Same, whoa. Hey, hopefully I can teach you a little more than English too. So if you're creating whatever that is, and hopefully it's something positive, and I don't mean crystal meth and Ritalin and drugs. I mean, creating something. And that can be anything, you don't have to be Vincent van Gogh to create something, especially these days, with a computer or a smartphone, you can be pretty creative. If you've just got a little creativity, it's never been easier to do something and create something. And I know myself, my motto, mi slogan is ABC, always be creating. All right, let's take a look over here in our Show with No Name virtual online classroom. And it looks like nobody is participating in the Say What soundbite yet. Yeah, hang on. I spoke too soon here. Hold on, all right. Sorry, as I said, I had to sniffle, so I lowered the microphone for 1 second. So Born to Iron Man says, we have listened to a sweet lady feeling great, happy, and whose life seems to be wonderful. I don't know how it'll be turning 60, but she's in 7th heaven growing old. Great. And you use the expression to be in 7th heaven. And you know why that's a wonderful thing? Well, A, because we looked at it last week with my mom on the episodes of FYI on the Bible, que de hecho hay dos capítulos ahora on the Bible. One came out Friday, one came out Saturday, and they're with my mother. I'm sure many of you have listened to them. I've even gotten a lot of wonderful feedback. And just in case you guys don't get the joke there, I'll let you in on it. Te voy a hacer para que estás enterado. I'll let you in on the joke. And it was the fact that Born to Iron Man, he tried to use this expression like 2 or 3 times since he learned it. And every time it was, but this time it's, so the expression that comes to mind is third time's a charm. A la tercera va la vencida. You got it. To be in 7th heaven, Born to Iron Man. And now you got it. Ahora sí que lo tienes. There's Chris Valrol, and she says, I heard a really well-spoken woman. Well, Chris, you're well-spoken. You're eloquent. Just the fact that you use that adjective is excellent. It's totally native. So great job, Chris. She says, I heard a really well-spoken woman. She says she is very happy. Her life is wonderful. And she's not thinking about growing old. Guys, nailed it. You nailed it. Great job. Well, if that's it for today's Say What soundbite, if nobody else has something to say, then we're going to move on to our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right. Sorry to you, to those of you who are watching the live stream right now. You just watched me blow my nose. Bueno, al menos hemos aprendido hoy cómo se dice sonar los mocos. We don't say to sound your mucus or to sound your snot. In fact, that sounds quite disgusting. It's to blow your nose, and I took advantage of the fact that we had a little jingle on, and I blew my nose. Acuérdate, es un verbo irregular. Blow, blew, blown. All right, amigos, our spelling bee today, you know what? I think it's about as easy as our Say What soundbite. So, hey, this is how life goes, folks. Some days you're here sweating, thinking, oh my God, this is impossible. And some days you're like, I got this. But isn't that normal in every situation? Some days I'm like, hello, will nothing go right today? Nothing, not even like making a cup of coffee. I can't do that right today. I'm sure we've all had those days, right? Where you're like, is anything going to go my way? Algo me va a salir como yo quiera. And then there are other days where you're like, man, I stepped in shit. Que, parece que no, pero significa que has tenido suerte. He pisado mierda, te lo juro. I stepped in shit. It happened to me last Sunday. So I said to my wife aloud, I said, oh man, I really want to go to the Bernabeu this weekend, and it would be awesome because Seville is coming to town, and it's the return of Sergio Ramos, who is so it's not even just the soccer match. It's the symbolism of somebody who was a Madridista for so long, and I think still in his heart, he's still a Madridista. Well, it was like his triumphant return to his home, his other home. And I said to my wife, how they say you got to say things aloud and they materialize. Well, it did. So, and there's more. So what happens is I tell her, I say, oh man, I think it was Friday evening and the game was on Sunday. And I remember we were sitting on the sofa, after a hard week of work, and I said, man, I'd love to go to that game. It would be absolutely awesome to go to that game and see Sergio, there on his what was his field for so long. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, dude, I might have some extra season tickets for the game on Sunday." I said, "You don't." I refused to get excited because I was like, "Might es puede que." De hecho, el puede que es otro subjuntivo. Puede que venga, puede que tenga, puede que vaya, otro subjuntivo. Toma nota, Giris. And so I said, wow. I was like, well, I don't want to get my hopes up. No me quiero hacer ilusiones falsas. I don't want to get my hopes up too much here. And so even my wife, she said, "Are you going or not?" I'm like, he said, maybe. So right now, I'm going to say no because I don't want to say yeah and think I'm going. And then he's like, "Sorry, man, I couldn't get the tickets." And so finally the moment came and he says, "I've got the tickets in my hand, the season tickets, bonos." And I said, "You do?" And there's one for me. And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Definitely." And I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "I'm going to the game I wanted to go to for free because they're expensive." Going to games is kind of expensive. If you have a season ticket, it's a lot cheaper per game. But if you just go to one game, it's pretty expensive, especially you usually bring your nephew or you bring somebody, a friend, you go together and you have a beer. So it turns out to be quite an expensive night. So I said, "Are you serious?" I was like, "This is amazing news." By the way, shout out to Alberto, another Alberto, the guy who lent us the season tickets. Alberto, I don't know you yet, but I'll tell you something. I can't wait to meet you. Another Madridista, and I love your name too, Alberto. Hey, I'm just speaking from the heart. So Alberto's generosity towards my friend Mike and me, who he doesn't even know, got me into that game. And then I told a friend of mine, Danny, shout out to Danny, who's also a Madridista. And he said, Danny's also my neighbor, by the way. And I'll tell you something. I live far from the Bernabeu. I used to live near it. I live pretty far from the Bernabeu, and the game finished at like 11 p.m. When you get home and, it's Monday's the next Sunday night, put it all in context. It's a school day the next day, como decimos, aunque es trabajo, decimos, tomorrow's a school day. So hay que acostarse temprano esta noche. So my friend Danny said, "Well, listen, I park right next to the stadium. I can drop you off at your house on the way back." I was like, so wait a second. I not only got a ticket to the game, but out of the generosity of two different people, I also was dropped right at my house like a half an hour after the game ended, without being in the cold. And as you guys can hear, I'm a little bit sick. I started getting sick actually the morning of the game. So it wasn't from the game, guys. It was the morning of, but I'm like, I'm not missing this. I don't care if I've got pulmonia, I'm going. So a beautiful story. Sometimes things do go our way. And a special shout out to Alberto and to Danny as well for making that happen. And my friend Mike, who also obviously was the connector between Alberto and this Alberto, yours truly, un servidor. All right, well, folks, I bought you some time. This is your spelling bee. This is round one. These words do not have to be capitalized. The first word is VELOUR. The second word is CORDUROY. The third one is COTTON. The fourth one is SILK. The fifth one is NYLON. And the sixth one is DENIM. And here's a clue.
Everyone has a favorite pair, and the more holes, the better. You can keep them throughout your whole life. You can even pass them down from generation to generation as hand-me-downs if you take care of them. From cowboys to sports heroes, everyone is wearing jeans. It's in our genes. Join me as we discover the riveting world of blue jeans on FYI. Welcome to For Your
Wow.
Info.
Sounds like another person. Well, as you get older, your voice gets deeper. Did you know that? It's true. That's why all these singers, from the 70s and 80s and all that, they have backup singers. Tres mujeres detrás ayudándole a llegar a esos, to hit those high notes, wow, can't believe that, guys. That was the second episode. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I learned so much. I mean, I didn't know. I wear jeans every day, but I didn't know that denim is from Nîmes, de Nîmes, que procede de Nîmes, Francia. Denim. What? Yeah. And the word jeans comes from Genova. Genoa, you say jeans, Genova, because the fishermen there used to wear them because they were very strong. So, I mean, these two fun facts blew my mind. And I said, well, let's learn a little bit about jeans. And then I said, what fabric? Vaya tela. We don't say what fabric. We don't say that. No. But today we're taking a look at some fabrics. And folks, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 winners over here. You've got to be kidding me. Folks, give it up for Born to Iron Man, Daniela, Chris Valrol, and Lupe. Wonderful job to each and every one of you over there. I can't believe how many of you got it. I'm blown away. Awesome. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to give it to you again. This is round 2, and I think everybody should be able to get it. Wow. Excellent job, Born to Iron Man, Daniela, Chris, and Lupe. Here's round 2. The first word is VELOUR. The second word is CORDUROY. The third one is COTTON. The fourth one is SILK. The fifth one is NYLON. And the sixth one is DENIM. Folks, we'll be right back with the second half of today's show. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Right after today's show, you can listen to the one and only Ximena Holiday. She'll put your English to the test in, you guessed it, Test Your English. What else, amigos? Oh, I've got some other good news. Hot off the press. O sea, de la imprenta. Hot off the press, folks. Today, you'll be able to find us not only on the Vaughn Radio app, but we have just joined radioplayer.org. I'm sharing the link with you here in the live chat. Radioplayerespana.es. And we're also on TuneIn Radio, which is one that I use for FYI as well. So you've got two new places where you can listen to all your favorite Vaughn Radio programs, be it Test Your English with Ximena Holiday, The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams, The Salad with Dave Boys, Kyle Miller's Drive Time, Ruby's Speak Up, Let's Get Random with Jules Linares, Kyle Miller's Drive Time, Richard Vaughn Live, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out there. Chris Frank, Frankly Speaking. I think that's everybody. All right, amigos, so much to do here today. Let's kick off with Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
Show with no name. All right, amigos, it's time for Homophones Only on the show with no name. Here's where we take a look at two words that could be tricky, potentially tricky, dificilillos, but I've got something to say here. I don't think it's impossible. You got a 50-50 shot here, at least with the yes or no part. So A, I want to know if you know the words. B, I want to know if you know if they sound exactly the same or not. All right? Is everybody ready here? The first word is a part of your body. It's the part of your body where your pants end. Cintura. In Spanish, it's, well, the same. You call it la parte del cuerpo y también en los pantalones. La cintura. All right? Later, there are idiomatic expressions, but we'll take a look at those. But if you're familiar with the word cintura, de cuerpo o de pantalón, okay? The second word is to use something inefficiently, okay? Desperdiciar, despilfarrar. As a noun, it's desechos, it's rubbish, it's garbage, it's stuff that you don't want. Unused, sobrantes, it can be as well. We talk about chemical, no los sobrantes químicos. So, sobrante, desperdiciado. It's a great word if you're not familiar with it. It's very useful. We talk about it too cuando malgastamos el dinero o el tiempo. So those are your two words. A, do you know them? B, do you know if they sound exactly the same? Also, let me give you today's super simple, in my opinion, super simple Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time, amigos.
I feel great. I am happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is.
Really?
Well, I never think about growing old. I barely think about growing up.
Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831, or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you.
More information at grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. As I said, you'll always find out what's going on. Also, if you're following on social media, we let you know about all that stuff too. You'll know about this news I just gave you, but I don't think anybody has announced it yet on the radio. Why? Because I just heard it a second ago. I just got the email about being on Radio Player España and also on TuneIn. So awesome. Tune in. Sintoniza. All right, let's take a look at today's homophones. The only student participating, I've got quite a few people here with us in the group, but the only one participating is Chris. So does that mean you guys, this is my curiosity when this happens, when there are obviously more people, but only one person participates. My curiosity there is it because it's too difficult, or maybe it's too easy? I don't know. Or you're not sure? Or you're not familiar with the words? Well, remember this. Nothing gained. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say nothing gained, nothing lost. Well, a lot to be gained. If you make a mistake, we can correct it and we can work on it. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol says the correct words, and she says that they're homophones. All right, well, Chris, you went out on a limb. To go out on a limb is arriesgarse, and it was worth it because you nailed it. Awesome job. Awesome job, Chris. All right, so the first word is waste. Waste. Now, both words are waste, but the first one is W-A-I-S-T. Waist se escribe. Pero si te das cuenta, el sonido es A. Waist. Waist. Okay? And so your waist size, tu talla de tu cintura. Waist. What else? We say to be waist deep. Estoy hasta la cintura. Okay, go into the pool, but only waist deep. Hasta la cintura. They talk about from the waist down, de la cintura para abajo. Okay, so after the accident, he was paralyzed from the waist down. Okay, same thing. Waist high, a la cintura. My daughter is waist high. O, ¿ves cómo cogemos esta palabra y ya como jugamos con ello, right? So waist high, W-A-I-S-T. Okay? Now, the second one, oh, and by the way, if you have ever had Levi's jeans, you say Levi's, que estamos hablando de vaqueros hoy un poco. You got on the back, it says W and L, ¿no? Pone W is waist, o sea, cintura, and L is leg or length. Bueno, leg. Mejor, tiene más sentido. So waist and leg, and that's el tamaño de cada uno. It's a good way to remember it. But don't waste your money. Malgastar, ese es el segundo ahora, que se escribe waste. Don't waste your money on Levi's jeans. Not in Spain. They cost like 4 times more here. These are 5 times more. Like, it's insane. I'm like, why do you guys love Levi's so much? I mean, I get it. They're cool, but Gap jeans, you know, and it's funny because you know what the expensive jeans are in the United States? Zara. When you say Zara, we say Zara. So, para que veas, nadie valora lo que, lo que tiene. Everybody wants what the other guy's wearing. Oh, and let's talk about that really quickly. To wear es lo llevas puesto ya. To put on es ponérselo, el acto de vestirse. So, this morning I put on a hoodie, una con capucha. Now I'm wearing the hoodie. I've heard people say, I'm going to wear a hat, pero querían decir como ponerlo, no llevarlo puesto. So just be careful there. It's wear, wore, worn. Es un verbo irregular. Wear, wore, worn. And put, to put on, easiest verb to conjugate ever. Put. Ya está. Esa es facilísima. So waste, it's a regular verb. He wasted his time in high school. That sounds familiar. Well, no, I was learning. I was honing my skills. To hone is pulir, no? My comedy skills. All while the teacher said, Alberto, please focus. Stop trying to take attention away from me. And I was just doing it because I was just trying to entertain people, make the day go by faster. I really wasn't a troublemaker. Just, class clown, como decimos. But I have to admit, I wasted a lot of time. At least I wasn't getting wasted. Hey, there's a double trouble. To get wasted is to get drunk, right? So, interesting one there. He was wasted, and he wasted a lot of time. That's a great way to remember. He wasted a lot of time being wasted in college, in universidad. He wasted a lot of time being wasted. Also reminds me of, another, we were talking about mottos before, slogans. One of my favorite mottos, it's from the Muse song, Knights of Sidonia. And he says, don't waste your time, or time will waste you, right? And I'm sure you've seen it in music as well. I mean, wasted, I'm sure, wasted away, because I'm a cowboy. I think Bond, what is it? Iron Maiden, wasted years. Toma, ahí lo tienes. Y eso puede ser ambos, si miras la letra. Wasted years, los años inebriated y años malgastados, desperdiciados. Great song, by the way. Living in the wasted years, 'cause you're right, and 'cause you're like goodbye. Beautiful song. And there you go, folks. That's your homophones. Wonderful job. Chris Valrol, born to Iron Man, better late than never. You got it as well. Wonderful job. Let's take a look at our spelling bee. Today, we're taking a look at different fabrics. And the reason we're taking a look at different fabrics today was because today, in history, in the year 1937, a guy named Wallace H. Carruthers received the U.S. patent. Los británicos dicen patent ahí. Nosotros patent. For nylon. Nylon, you say nylon? Nylon? How do you pronounce that one? I don't even know. It's nylon. What's made of nylon? Let's see. What are things that are, stockings, for example. Nylon stockings. I personally don't wear nylon. You know how certain fabrics are just not comfortable to people? Well, I for some reason, nylon and me are not friends at all. Yeah, we don't get along. No nos llevamos bien. But I figured we could take a look at some other ones. I'll tell you our favorite fabric in this home. And we love it. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret here now about my family. We love wearing velour. Okay? Velour is belbetón. Belbetón pone aquí. Okay. Es que no sé en español. Belbetón, le decís así. So in my house, do you know what our nickname is when we're all in our pajamas? The Velour Mafia. La Mafia de Belbetón, de Velour. Hey, we're a soft mafia. Estamos suavecitos. The same way I hate nylon, I love velour. It's one of the softest materials out there. And it's also a synthetic, though, just like just like nylon. The next one's corduroy, which is a really popular one. You say pana, corduroy. And de pana or corduroy. Veo que también hay gente que dice corduroy también. Well, corduroy, those are pretty comfortable. They've got those stripes, right? Corduroy. Those are, I think in the winter, they keep you warm. There's nothing like our third one, I think. It's probably the most popular fabric in the world, or at least this with a blend, una mezcla de otra cosa. And I'm talking about cotton. Cotton. Eso es, algodón. Mr. Cotton. Don Algodón. Okay, all right. Now, I remember one of the greatest memories of my life was on my honeymoon, and my wife and I, we slept in a barn, okay, un granero, in the middle of a cotton field. And it blew my mind, even before that, when we were driving there, all of a sudden we saw fields and we saw these little white flowers. And I'm like, those aren't flowers. Those are cotton balls. And I wouldn't think in a million years that cotton grew on the tree looking like it does when you put it, a little cotton ball on your face. Es que es igual. I'm sure it goes through some kind of treatment or cleaning or something like this, right? So, cotton. Now, again, most things are cotton blends. But with socks, I don't budge. No negocio. Not when it comes to socks. Los calcetines. 100% cotton. I don't know about you guys, but my feet know the difference. Seriously. I'm like, this has a blend. My feet are sweating more than normal. I swear to God. I will say this. I'm kind of hypersensitive with touch. Like taste, textures in general. Textures. Touch, textures. And you know who's exactly like that? My daughter. She's like, Daddy, the socks are on wrong. I'm like, okay, hold on. And I have to line them up. And you know what? A part of me is like, honey, we're gonna be late. And the other part of me is like, I totally get it. It's frustrating when the sock is on wrong or, the fabric isn't folded the right way. Especially if I remember learning that the hard way one time when I went snowboarding. And I remember halfway through the day, my leg was in intense pain, but I hadn't fallen at all. I mean, there was no hit or anything. I didn't cry. I said, what the hell? And so we stopped to have something to drink or something, I remember, and I just undid my boot. No, lo desabroché. And I realized that my pants, my sock, whatever it was, under there was folded over. So había como un pliegue ahí. And it literally sent shooting pain through my leg all morning. And I was like, the importance of putting on your socks, your boots, and your equipment, your pants correctly, because just a little fold can just really cause a lot of pain. So I get it there. Cotton. The next one is silk. Silk. When we talk about silk, we talk about one of the smoothest ones out there. And silk is seda. You say liso como la seda. We say smooth like silk. O sea, siempre los de champú siempre están con la seda, right? They're always talking about silky or la piel. A lot of beauty companies use the word silk when we talk about your skin, your hair, right? Silk. And silk sheets. Yeah, those are, I remember a friend of mine, she had silk sheets. And I'll stop there. Y hasta ahí llegamos con esa historia. The next one's nylon, what started this whole conversation. And the last one is denim. And denim, as we just learned, is from Denim, France. Denim. And Chris is telling me terciopelo, but there's a thing here over here. Terciopelo is real. So this is what I understand, Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong. So velour is like fake velvet, right? Is that the truth? Because then, porque aquí pone terciopelo, velvet. Como dices la canción de Alana Mas, Black velvet, I need it for a smile. Black velvet, here's someone's smile. So a new religion. Great song, by the way. So velour, yeah, I think velour is like the synthetic, cheap version of velvet, because I think velvet, like you can really like screw it up easily. You can't get it wet, no se puede mojar. And velour is like resistant to everything. As I said, it's like totally synthetic, but it's so soft. It's so soft. Let's see. Chris also says, regarding the soccer thing, I love it when that happens. A happy wish and Bob's your uncle. And Bob's your uncle. Buenísima expresión, Chris. And Bob's your uncle. Y voilà, tómala, toma ya, mira. Y eso es todo, right? Great expression. The universe working to make it come true. Synchronicity. Absolutely. Well, you know what? My wife said that to me. She goes, well, you're always trying to help people. You're always, generous with people. So it's normal that things like that happen to you. And if they didn't, I would be worried because you deserve it. Te lo mereces. And I said, oh, what a sweetheart. I married the right woman. Excuse me. As I said, I'm stuffed up today. She's very, very supportive. Diana, shout out to my wife, Diana. And she's the proof, too, that if you surround yourself with English, now in her case, she married me. She didn't have a choice. I speak English at home. But she's the proof that if you surround yourself with English, you get a lot better without even trying. My wife has made zero effort to improve her English. She's just living with me. We watch stuff in English, and that's it. So imagine you guys actually putting in the effort to live in English and practice. I mean, if she's making progress just on pure inertia, pure momentum. Eso es otra forma de que decimos inercia. All right, guys, before we lose our momentum, I'm going to leave you with a challenge before our commercial break. It's time for today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, folks. Double trouble here on the show with no name. Wow, we've got a lot of stuff to cover here. Let me give you today's double trouble. We'll see if you guys can figure it out. And then we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then we've got our last part of the show. I can't freaking believe it. Well, thank you guys again, because even though I'm sick today, estoy malito. Again, I don't want to sound like a complainer, a whiner, una quejica, a whiner. Because really, I'm fine. Honestly, like I don't feel sick, but like my wife said, she goes, yeah, but my wife's stuffed up. It's normal. My daughter brings it home. One of us gets it. And then, we round and round we go. Parents, I'm sure you know this very well. And so it was only a matter of time before we would get it as well. And my wife is, she said, okay, I'm stuffed up, but I have a meeting and I have to talk a little bit. And she goes, but you have to talk for 2 hours and, well, the snot, el moco sigue haciendo lo que hace ahí dentro, lo que sea. So thank you for your patience with me, as I said, and thank you for distracting me, because right now I'd just be sitting here like, oh, I can't breathe too well. But honestly, I feel great, and just affecting, obviously, the way I speak, and you might hear a little phlegm in the background from time to time. All right, well, but you gotta love me con todos mis defectos, que es la expresión que vamos a ver hoy in our Double Trouble. And I want to send a shout out to my sister, Natalia. My sister, Natalia, who recommended this one. Well, no, she didn't recommend it. I'll tell you what she did. She used it. She used the expression. And I said, oh, this is a great one for a Double Trouble. So thanks, Ty. I call her Ty, Natalia, because I said it quickly. And thanks to my sister for giving me this one without even realizing it. She's contributing to my show. And I'm going to tell her to watch this. So a shout out. Today we sent a shout out to Alberto, the very generous guy who lent me and my friends the Real Madrid season ticket. A shout out to Dani and to my sister for unknowingly helping us out with this expression here. So Sé que es un don angustias. We talked about don algodón. Well, I love this one in Spanish. Don angustias. Este es un don angustias. Es buenísimo, ¿eh? So, sé que él es un don angustias, pero le quiero con todos sus defectos. You have to use the same word twice. Sé que él es un don angustias, pero le quiero con todos sus defectos. Folks, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So, stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to this, the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Just a quick reminder, you've got amazing programs on Vaughn Radio all day long. And now you can catch our shows on, are you ready for this? radioplayer.org. I just shared the link with you. You can go to Radio Player España, radioplayerespana.es. We're also on TuneIn Radio as well. So this is fantastic news. And if you're already, for example, I don't know the other one. I'm going to have to check it out. But I have TuneIn Radio on my phone. It's a great app. You can listen to not just Vaughn Radio, but all kinds of cool radio stations from around the world. It's global. All right, amigos, welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show. A quick reminder, too, if you haven't participated in our question of the week yet, you can do that. Tell us what your favorite subject was in school and why. The most important part is the why. When you know what it is, all you have to do is send me, personally, a 1-minute voice message to alonso@grupovaughn.com. alonso@grupovaughn.com. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, we've got to take a look at our Say What soundbite. This is the last listen. I thought somebody was going to get it. Maybe not. Well, this is your last chance.
I feel great. I am happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is.
Really?
Well, I never think about growing old. I barely think about growing up.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughn Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughn Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown.
All right. I bought you some time, folks. I bought you as much time as I could possibly buy you before we take a look at today's Double Trouble. Let's see. Chris is taking a stab at it. And I'll tell you what, Chris, you're going to get an applause just because today you've participated in every section. You usually do, but today, when other people are thinking, oh, I don't know about this one, you are full speed ahead, a todo gas. So, Chris, don't think I'm not paying attention. I got you. Good job. She says, he's all anguish, but I love him in spite of all his flaws. Chris, that's correct. Grammatically speaking, the vocabulary is correct as well. So great. It's just not a double trouble, but yeah, sure. Anguish. Right? Let's see how they say angustias. And this way I can tell you the angustias. Upset, to get where angustiarse. Okay, anguish, anxiety, angst, distress. Okay, so great. Oh, and she says, you're right. Velour and velvet are different. Yeah, because the velour that we buy is pretty cheap. We buy it on Amazon or wherever, AliExpress. And I know velvet is not cheap, so I think it's just an imitation of it, but it's softer. I think it's softer. And you don't have to take such great care of it, right? No hay que cuidarlo tanto, right? Okay, so I'll give it to you guys over here. This is today's Double Trouble. Un don angustias is a worry wart, okay? A worry wart. Now, the word worry es preocuparse. Ahora, esto es interesante porque es dos palabras en uno. So the word wart, a secas, W-A-R-T, is something that I think of a witch's nose, ¿no? La nariz de una bruja, right? She has a wart. Perruga, I think is the word, right? So a worry wart is somebody who's always anxious, pesimista, don angustias, aprensivo, preocupón en México. Me gusta esa, preocupón. Pero deja de preocuparte por todo. You're going to give yourself a heart attack and nothing's going to happen to you, because it's all in your head. You drive yourself crazy about what could be or what should be, right? And I've learned the older I get, the less I worry about things. I'm concerned about a lot of things, but worried about very few, right? Because I know worry keeps me up at night. I know worry makes me anxious. So I try not to be a worry wart. A worry wart. Okay, as I said, so the word worry, ya lo sabéis. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be all right. And a wart, as I said, is verruga, right? Let me just make sure before I give you that one. Yeah, verruga. So a wart. Now, are you ready for this one here? These are going to love this one. So he's a worry wart, but I love him warts and all. Esa es la que me dio mi hermana. She said, bro, I love you warts and all. O lo que me dijo algo así. So that means, es frase hecha, con todos tus verrugas. It's a great one, como todos tus imperfecciones, como eres. And I thought I'm like, esta es buenísima. Wart. Iba a usar verruga como el otro, ¿no? La expresión es claramente warts and all, con todos tus verrugas y todo. But then I didn't use the literal thing. I digo, hay otra. Y digo, claro, a worry wart. Alguien que siempre está preocupado, estresado, ansioso, right? So he's a worry wart, but I love him. Warts and all. So thanks to my sister for giving me that one, as I said, unknowingly. All right, folks, we are going to the movies. Name that movie. All right, folks, welcome to the movies. We are going to the movies today, and let's see what we've got for today's movie. All right, let me give you the trailer, which is chock full of great expressions and vocabulary usually, and then we'll take a look at the scene, and we'll see if you guys know this movie. All right, a marksman living in exile is coaxed back into action after hearing of a plot to kill the president. After being double-crossed for the attempt and on the run, he sets out for the real killer and the truth. Wow. That sounds pretty crazy. All right. So, a marksman. A marksman is a sharpshooter. A sharpshooter is tirador, francotirador, right? Somebody who's trying to hit their mark, a marksman, okay? So a marksman living in exile, eso es fácil, ¿no? Que vive en exiliado, is coaxed. Now, esta palabra es interesante porque es C-O-A-X, pero la O-A es como boat, coax, right? So suena como Coca-Colas. Can I have 2 Cokes? I'm not going to coax you anymore. Y esto es convencer, persuadir. I'm going to coax you into going. Te voy a convencer que vengas. Okay, coax. C-O-A-X is the word we're looking at, okay? And so he is coaxed back into action. Le convencen que vuelva a su deber, ¿no? After hearing of a plot, un complot, to kill the president. After being double-crossed, traicionado, to be double-crossed, okay? Double-cross, a ver, como yo creo que lo traducen como esto, vamos a ver, to double-cross somebody. Yeah, dar puñalada a la espalda, traicionar, yeah, ahí lo tienes, okay? So, to double-cross somebody. So, after being double-crossed for the attempt and on the run, a la fuga, on the run, he sets out for the real killer and to set out, emprender, empezar su cruzada. He sets out for the real killer and the truth, y la verdad. And let me just remind you, those words can sometimes be confusing. You've got truth versus true. Truth. So I want the truth. Quiero la verdad. Eso no es verdad. That's not true. True, adjetivo. Truth, sustantivo. And you know what? We've got a winner, and that's the truth. It's Chris Valrol. All right. Awesome job today, Chris. The movie is called Shooter. It came out in 2007, and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Michael Pena, Kate Mara. Kate Mara, you guys probably know if you've seen, she was really good in that role too. Kate Mara was in House of Cards. She played the intern, La Becaria. Oh man, she was really good. I didn't know her. I hadn't seen her as an actress before, or that I remembered. And then I was like, whoa, okay. If you haven't seen it, I can't say anything. I'll just be quiet. Now, the original choice for the role was not Mark Wahlberg. It was, Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Now, Keanu Reeves is awesome, and he's an ass kicker. But I feel like this role, it just sounds like a Mark Wahlberg role, doesn't it? You know, it just sounds like it. And so, yeah, this is, it's based on a true story, as many of these are. They obviously take the liberty to change the parts and you know, that's why they say based on a true story. It doesn't mean it is a true story, right? That's the key word there. Or sometimes I'll even say loosely based on, como no del todo, hay cosas. Like we talked about Chuck Wepner yesterday and Rocky. Yeah, it was based on it or loosely based on it. But that's enough to go to court, llevar a un juicio, obviously. So let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen from this movie. Mr. Rate says, would have been a bad job to take, though. It would have been, hubiese sido. ¿Te sabes esta estructura? It would have been, lo contraemos a it would have. El apóstrofe VE ahí suena a of o a. So yo te lo digo, dos formas nativas de decir esto. Te lo voy a decir sin contraer. It would have been. Nadie lo va a decir así. Lo que sí que diríamos es it would have been, would have, or woulda. It would have been, or it would have. Yo siempre recomiendo el v, porque ya dice, he hecho el have ahí. Okay. So it would have been. Ahora, he visto americanos en Twitter poner, you should have. Y digo que no es of. Suena a of, pero es apóstrofe VE. Que tanto suena a of que ellos ponen of. Si no alguien que no está consciente de lo que está diciendo, right? Como muchos nativos. Not all of us are walking around with a grammar book in our hands. So it would have been a bad job to take, though. Hubiese sido un mal trabajo para escoger, para elegir, aunque hubiese sido though or although, even though, también se puede decir. And then Nick says, how come? This is another way of saying why, right? How come? ¿Y por qué? And Mr. Rate says, whoever took that shot is probably dead now. El que tiró ese, el que disparó, is probably dead now. That's how conspiracy works. Así funcionan las conspiraciones. Them boys, sería those boys, pero esto es un error nativo. Them boys, esos chavales, on the grassy knoll. And the grassy knoll is the famous hill where John F. Kennedy was killed. Hay una colina ahí, y dicen que they always say there were bullets. There was smoke by the grassy knoll. So a very big part of the JFK assassination is the unknown, let's say. There are many unknowns, but the grassy knoll es, se dice más hill, pero esta es the grassy knoll. No, el más famoso de la historia. And he goes, them boys on the grassy knoll, esos chicos que estaban ahí cuando mataron a Kennedy. They were dead within 3 hours. O sea, los otros que estaban ahí disparando estaban muertos en 3 horas. Because let's be honest, does anybody still believe one person killed John F. Kennedy? I hope not. I mean, a bullet can't, I don't know very much about ballistics, but I know bullets can't bounce in and out of a person 7 times. That's impossible, you know? So, you know, and it just so happens the guy who shot him was shot himself, so he couldn't speak. Interesting. And a lot of other people disappeared too. Fascinating. I think that's part of the fascination with this case. He goes, they were dead within 3 hours, dentro de 3 horas. He goes, buried in the damn desert, enterrados en el maldito desierto. Unmarked graves. And an unmarked grave es una fosa común. Unmarked es que te entierran y no ponen ningún marcador. Okay, an unmarked tiene sentido. An unmarked grave. Out past Terlingua. Terlingua is out there in the desert. And Nick says, and you know this for a fact? Y esto lo sabes 100%? And Mr. Rate says, still got the shovel. Sigo teniendo la pala. O sea, que le he enterrado yo. los enterré yo. Wow. That's the last thing you want to hear in that conversation. Oh, yeah, I still got the shovel. You want to play games? Jeez Louise. All right, well, folks, we've got to move on. It's time for a little birthday celebration. I'll go to the party, like Chris said, as long as you guys come with me. Siempre que. It's time for famous birthday trivia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner in today's Say What Soundbite. It's Chris Valrol. What a day. You're missing one word there, but I'm going to give you that word in just a minute. All right, let's see who's celebrating a birthday. The first person, I just mentioned her name minutes ago. She is an American actress who was born today. She was in House of Cards. Castillo de Naipes, House of Cards. She played Zoe. I said intern. She wasn't an intern. She was a reporter. Sorry. She was also in 24, which is a very popular series. She was in American Horror Story, Murder House. She was in A Teacher. She was in Brokeback Mountain. She was in Shooter. Today's Name That Movie. Stone of Destiny, Transcendence, The Martian, Fantastic Four, Chappaquiddick, which has to do with the Kennedys, speaking of. And yeah, there you go. If you don't know who she is now, well, you weren't listening before. Number 2, this person was born today in 1957. I talked about Iron Maiden before, didn't I? I said wasted years. There was a reason for that. Yeah, well, this guy is their guitarist and songwriter who was born today in 1957. And this guy, he's... well, they have several guitarists, but he is one of the guitarists in the band. And I've got to say, this is one of my favorite bands. And remember Born to Iron Man? I said that you were going to like today's Name That lyric. Well, I think you know where we're going here. I think you're with me, right? All right. Because it's 2 minutes to midnight. All right, there we go. Last but not least, Dama. She's not Miss. She's not Mrs. She was Dame. No digo su nombre, but an English-American actress and humanitarian, one of the greatest, most famous people to grace the Hollywood screen, the silver screen. She's been in so many movies. She was known for being in Giant with James Dean. Also, she's won the Golden Globe Award. She's won, I think, everything out there you can win. Oh, and she's been married 1 million times. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. It's Chris Valrol. Number 1. Kate Mara. Number 1 is Kate Mara. Number 2, Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden. And number 3, Elizabeth Taylor or Liz Taylor. And that'll bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is Liz Taylor. And she's saying here, they're asking her, how do you feel? You're turning 60 now. You know, vas a cumplir. We say to turn. We don't say turn into. Turn into is convertirse en. Cumplir is just turn. I'm turning tal. No hay preposición, ¿ok? Toma nota. Because I've heard people say, I'm turning into 7. They go, entiendo, convertir, pero no es ese convertirse. Eso ya es turn. So she says, the interviewer, Oprah Winfrey, who you can hear her, I mean, you can't have a faker laugh. Sorry, I hate Oprah. I just think she's everything wrong with TV. She's like, it is the fake. I want you to pay attention even more than what Liz Taylor is saying here, than Oprah's fake laugh. You can't get faker than that. And that's what it is. I've always seen her as a fake. She doesn't seem sincere to me. I don't know. I don't really watch her either, but it doesn't, something I don't trust about that woman, you know? And so she says, Liz Taylor says, I feel great. Because she's even trying to like, how do you feel? You're 60. What are you trying to make her feel bad? She goes, I feel great. Actually, it's not the answer she wanted, I imagine. I feel great. I'm happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is. Now, the fuss is all the noise, todo el ruido, todo the fuss, el escándalo, la queja, el lío. I don't understand all the fuss. F-U-S-S is the word you were looking for there, Chris. I don't understand what all the fuss about turning 60 is. ¿Cuál es la gran cosa? El escándalo aquí. She goes, well, I never think about growing old. No pienso en hacerme mayor. I barely think about growing up. What a great answer. Apenas pienso en crecer, no? En madurar. And then Oprah goes, yes. Fakest laugh ever. Give it a listen. Here's your Say What soundbite.
I feel great. I am happy. My life is wonderful. And I don't know what all the fuss about turning 60 is.
Really?
Well, I never think about growing old. I barely think about growing up.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And let's take a look. As I said, it's going to be an Iron Maiden song. And why not? Wasted Years, the one we looked at a little bit when we were talking about our homophones. It is an amazing song. If you haven't heard it, let's go over the lyrics together. If you want, you can Google them now. And this way we can sing all together as we say goodbye with energy, with oomph. So he says, from the coast of gold, the Gold Coast, across the 7 seas, cruzando los 7 mares, traveling on far and wide, viajando far and wide es lejos y amplio, por todas partes, far and wide. But now it seems, ahora parece, I'm just a stranger to myself, que no me conozco, a mí mismo. And all the things I sometimes do, it isn't me, but someone else. So he doesn't feel like he's himself. I close my eyes and I think of home. Cierro los ojos, pienso en casa. And another city goes by in the night. Otra ciudad pasa de largo en la noche. That's being on tour, estando de gira. Ain't it funny how it is? No es gracioso eso, interesante. Ain't it funny how it is? You never miss it till it's gone anyway. No lo echas de menos hasta que no lo tengas. Which reminds me of another great song. Búscate Cinderella. Don't know what you got till it's gone. What a great song. So he says, so he goes, gone away. He goes, and my heart is lying there. Y ahí está tirado mi corazón. And it will be till my dying day. So understand, don't waste your time searching for those wasted years. Face up, enfréntalo, make your stand, proclámate, and realize you're living in the golden years. Thank you so much, amigos. And this song is for you. Wow! See you tomorrow. Thanks again.